I find this to be a very interesting comment. My guy says you should be asking what was God doing before the Old Testament. Think about it. In the Old Testament, he says that he made everything in 7 days, but there were other gods before the Old Testament. So how could he make everything if it was already here? That means God. That means another God made it, not the God of the Old or New Testament. Now, to a certain degree, I'm going to agree with you in this sense. When you do look at the story of Genesis, and especially Genesis chapter 1, which we know Genesis chapter 1 was written after Genesis chapter 2, in an effort to make it make sense, but the math still wasn't mathing. In Genesis chapter 1, it said, in the beginning, everything was in chaos. And over that chaos, this God, his breath, his ruach, fluttered over the waters. So that indicates that there was something in existence prior to this God doing his creation. Now, some people have looked at this and said that, well, this is not the first earth, that same God had created a whole nother earth, a whole nother universe, and made it. It went through its cycle, and then it was destroyed. That is kind of like the singularity theory, or as is commonly known as the Big Bang theory, that there was once a universe, that universe crashes, then a new universe is born, and that universe crashes. But we also know that singularities happen even without the entire universe crashing. So there's even more that we have been learning concerning the singularities, but that there was one great singularity that created the whole of the universe. We don't know. We have theories, but those theories have more scientific backing than your God created it. Now, back to what you were saying, though. This God obviously was hovering over something that was already here before. So therefore, where did that something before that come from? We can easily go and say that since there were other gods talked about prior to this Genesis God, that maybe one of those gods created it. Maybe it was Brahma. Maybe it was Anu. Maybe it was Enlil. Maybe it was Oshun. It could have been a litany of different deities that created it, since many other people have different creation stories. The real answer is something that most people have a difficulty saying. We don't know. I don't know. It is highly unlikely that some deity created it from another religion that has been in existence only for the last 12,000 years. Most likely, we don't know. Something happened prior to this creation. Something happened in around that 9,000 years time frame after the Younger Dryas, and people started creating their own Genesis story. But what was happening before that? What cataclysmic event happened before that? One of those being the Younger Dryas period, which was an ice age that covered the northern hemisphere. And then once that ice melted rapidly in 6 days, for reasons that we are still trying to discover, the sea levels rose 400 feet. People got their flood stories, but people also had their creation stories based on that as well. Now, prior to that, geologists suggest that there has been at least 5 other extinction level events that has happened on Earth. And the oldest Homo erectus that we have found is 117,000 years old. Were they people existing, or some type of life form, conscious life form existing 1,000 years, 2,000, I'm messing that up. 100,000, 200,000, 3, 4, 5, 600,000 years prior to Homo erectus? It's possible. Were there civilizations that have rose and fell, just as we have seen civilizations rise and fall? It's possible. Would we be able to find all these civilizations? More than likely not. Because as Earth continues, it covers and buries everything that has existed before, and there are certain things that we're just not going to know. So the best answer is we don't know, but there probably was some other civilization, and they all probably have their own creation stories as well. If we ever meet people who are from another planet or another dimensional plane, guess what they'll have? Creation stories of their own. But it's a good thought exercise. So you have a great day, and remember always to free yourself to be yourself, because your greatness is non-negotiable. Good journey, good vibration.